Top news: Caitlin Clark still making huge assists for Iowa women's basketball. Iowa City, Iowa. With everything that Caitlin Clark has accomplished since soaring to unprecedented heights while becoming arguably the greatest defensive player in the history of women's college basketball, it's what she's doing now indirectly that might be the most impressive part of her legend. Not since the days of C. Vivian Stringer in the mid-1980s and early 1990s has the Iowa women's basketball program been such a serious contender for the most heralded recruits in the country as it is now. Stringer recruited from coast to coast and built Iowa into a national power, and she did so with rosters filled with blue-chip recruits who had turned down some of the best programs in the country to play for Iowa. And now, more than 3 decades later, the same thing is starting to happen under second-year head coach Jan Jensen, and Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind it. Since Clark last played for Iowa in 2024, 2 5-star recruits, both from California, have picked Iowa, the latest being 6'2" wing player McKenna Woliczok, who is ranked by ESPN as the number 6 prospect in the 2026 class. She committed to Iowa on Wednesday, picking the Hawkeyes over South Carolina, Ohio State, and USC. Her decision ultimately came down to Iowa and South Carolina, 2 schools that have been competing against each other a lot recently. Iowa defeated South Carolina in the 2023 NCAA semifinals, and then South Carolina defeated Iowa in the 2024 NCAA title game. Clark was the centerpiece of those 2 Iowa teams as a do-everything 6-foot point guard filled with moxie, emotion, and immense skills. She left Iowa as the NCAA's all-time scoring leader, with more than 1,100 assists, and with a legend that continues to grow in the WNBA, though she was injured for much of this season. No women's player, or men's player for that matter, touched the nation the way in which Clark did with her logo threes, no-look passes, and record-breaking success at Iowa. Fans from opposing schools used to wait in line just to see Clark play. And, of course, she had a lot of help from her teammates and coaches. It was an era that spawned a belief that being an Iowa women's basketball player is quite appealing and cool. Woliczok, who is from San Bruno, California, will follow in the footsteps of Iowa freshman guard Addie Deal, who was 5-star prospect in the 2025 class and a native of Irvine, California. Woliczok acknowledged that Clark's impact led her to be interested in Iowa, but Woliczok also said it was more than just Clark, mentioning former Iowa Star centers Megan Gustafson and Monica Chinano as others' influences. And fair enough, because without Gustafson's individual and team success at Iowa, which included an Elite 8 appearance as a senior, Clark might have gone elsewhere. Gustafson showed Clark that all her dreams, both team and individual, could be achieved at Iowa, and that was a key factor in Clark's decision, along with her wanting to stay close to her family in West Des Moines. Obviously, Caitlin's a great player, and obviously she put Iowa on the map, Woliczok told ESPN. But I also watched a lot of other Iowa players growing up. Megan Gustafson, Monica Chinano, I would always watch them and thought they were awesome. It also takes a community, coaches, players, and support staff to land a star recruit, so it took more than just Clark's popularity and influence to land Woliczok and Deal. But it all starts with Clark and the way she took the nation by storm as a Hawkeye, and by the way she put Iowa on the map, as Woliczok said. In addition to Deal and Woliczok, Iowa is also one of 7 finalists for 2026 5-star forward Addison Bjorn, who is from Riverside, Missouri, and one of 5 finalists for 2026 5-star shooting guard Jenica Lewis, who is from Johnston, Iowa. The chance that 3 5-star recruits could ultimately be in Iowa's 2026 recruiting class is nothing short of incredible. Even Stringer didn't recruit at that level. It seems as if you go social media and learn almost every day about another top-notch recruit that has Iowa on her radar. Iowa's current roster has a former 5-star recruit from California in Deal, a former 4-star recruit from Oregon in sophomore center Ava Hayden, and a former 4-star recruit from Alaska in freshman center Layla Hayes. Those are places Iowa never recruited, or at least never successfully recruited, until after Clark made her mark as a Hawkeye. Iowa Athletics announced on the same day that Woliczok committed to Iowa that Iowa women's basketball season tickets are sold out for a 3rd consecutive season. The energy driving the program right now is historic and unmatched. It would be a massive oversight to not mention Lisa Blooda's influence, since she was Clark's head coach for Clark's 4 seasons at Iowa, as well as Jensen's mentor.